sitting there, Dave, for the Liberal Party, they had their first female leader of the party, Sussan Ley, having been elected to that role earlier today. Joining me now is Liberal MP Andrew Wallace. Thank you for your time. You were in there, you had a vote. Your seat isn't officially declared. We've called it at Sky News, if that makes you feel better. We were actually just going through the numbers off air. There's a lot of postal votes left that aren't in this 3-candidate preferred.
Yep.
And that's what'll make the equation much better for you. But you've taken a haircut. Are you feeling confident? What's your view on claiming it, or what are you getting told by head honchos in the party?
Well, we'd already claimed it, and the Labor Party and the Teal had conceded defeat, nearly a week ago now. So, much to my surprise, I was in my shed cleaning up all my signs, and I had a phone call from the Deputy Premier of Queensland. He said, "Have you seen the AEC website?" And he said they've gone to a third-party count. So that went. It meant that my margin went from 6.9 to 1.3 with a refresh.
Because you're up against, for our viewers, we should be sitting there with the touch screen, but anyway. Because for our viewers, once the independent finishes ahead of Labor, if the independent gets to second, Labor preferences flow really strongly for the independent, 80% or so. And that means when it's 2-candidate preferred, when it's you versus the independent, it's a lot closer versus Labor.
Correct.
So that caught you by surprise, did it?
It did, because I thought that the Teal wouldn't be able to catch up to Labor. They were 6,500 votes behind Labor, and the conventional wisdom was that they couldn't catch Labor, but they did. That's still yet to be decided. This is about 800
and that's the
votes.
point. There's a lot of postal left.
Yeah.
So I suspect Labor actually finishes ahead of the independent, but even if they don't, postals help you. So
yes.
I'll just say you're fine. There you go.
Thanks, Tom.
Take it from me, or don't, or say, mate, you mean nothing. That's fair enough. I get being nervous about the outcome. Okay, so you're in there, you had your vote. What did you make of today? Because 29 to 25, it's not commanding. The party's pretty divided. We had stories out around backgrounding from Angus Taylor against Sussan Ley and Sussan Ley against Angus Taylor. Is that a bad sign that after a defeat you weren't coming together?
Look, I think that it's pretty normal in these situations for people. This is their big shot to get in and have a crack. That's the healthy side of democracy within our party. But I think we all need to recognise and acknowledge that these things are absolutely brutally bruising. I'm feeling for Angus right now. Angus is a good fella. He served the party very well, and I hope that he plays an important role in the party going forward.
Does he need to... there's a lot of experience you've lost. Does he need to take a shadow front bench role? Would that be for the good of the party?
I absolutely believe that we cannot be competitive unless we have our best players on the park.
And he needs to be there?
He needs to be there. Angus, if you're watching this, you need to be there. This is not a time to, he can lick his wounds for 24 hours, but then we need him on the park. Just as we need all of our effective communicators on the park, talking with the media, talking with the Australian public, and very importantly, the first thing we have to do is listen to find out where we went so wrong.
Okay. Sounds like you supported him in the vote?
No, I actually supported Sussan.
Okay. And even despite that, you're saying she's the best for the leader, but you should be...
I think that Sussan represents our best chance to rebuild. And that's what this has got to be about. For the next 3 years, people will, commentators will write us off if they haven't already. But I lived through that era in Queensland where the Labor Party were reduced to 7 seats, and Annastacia Palaszczuk then went on and won the next election in a landslide. So these things can be done. In the right circumstances, they can be done.
You can win the next election.
We can win the next election in the right circumstances. What we need to do is rebuild, look at where we went so wrong, and fix it.
I think there's a better record for states adjusting dramatically. Anyway, take that for what it is. You mentioned as well where it went wrong. Where did it go wrong in your view?
Nationally, I felt that we didn't have a good communication model. I felt that our communications were really were left wanting. I felt that there was too much command and control.
From where?
From the top.
As in the office of Peter Dutton? Or?
From the office.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got
Peter Dutton himself as well?
Well, certainly from his office.
So if he's considered part of the office, him and his office broadly, command and control?
I believe that we need to ensure, I would like to see a return to Westminster cabinet-style opposition to prepare us for government in the future. And to do that, you've got to have your best people on the park prosecuting the political agenda. You can't just have one person out front and not have those people that you're relying upon. The Australian people need to be satisfied. If they're going to vote for a new government, they need to be satisfied that the opposition is ready to form government. And if you don't have your best players out on the park, if they're not out there front and centre, the Australian public don't know what they're buying.
Was there too much of a slave to disunity-'s death in the last term?
Look, there was certainly the party room were very, very loyal to Peter, and I guess there is a price for that.
Okay. And what about sorting the policy out? Was too much of that left up in the air too close to the campaign or even during it? Sort it out a lot earlier, make it clear.
Absolutely.
Was there agitation within the party to do that was ignored?
Well, I think we all bear responsibility for this. This is not, Peter Dutton has been a great servant of the party. We can't just lump all this on Peter Dutton. Every single member of that party room has to own the outcome. I own the outcome, just as I own the outcome locally.
You've mentioned a few, and so you've got 6-7% swing. You've lost quite a few Queensland colleagues. You mentioned best players. Is Jacinta Price one of them? Well,
Jacinta, as we know, has come over from the National Party to the Liberal Party. I'm not particularly au fait with the rules about leaving the country.
Seems to have happened.
Well, it's happened. She's now in the
Is she one of your best players?
I think
you've mentioned that a lot.
I think Jacinta has an important part to play. And I'll give you an example. During the Voice referendum, I had Jacinta to my seat, and we did a forum, and we had 700 people there at the Caloundra RSL.
Well, she seems to have cut through. Is she one of your best players? You said Angus Taylor is. You seem less willing to say whether she is.
Well, no, I think, it's not my role. I'm not the leader of the opposition.
Would there be a problem with her having a prominent position given the way the defection happened?
Honestly, there is, from my perspective, there's obviously a concern about how she went about the way she went about it. And loyalty is an important part of politics. But is Jacinta Price a good performer, a very good retail performer? Absolutely she is. And I think that there is a role for her to play on the opposition front bench, but that's a matter for Sussan and Ted.
Right. We'll see what she has to say. She's about 50 minutes away. Appreciate your time today, Andrew Wallace, as you continue to watch that count closely. I'll tell you if I see anything pop up unusual, but I think you'll be okay.
Thanks, Tom.